Atlantic City, one of the famous names in the world of resorts and tourism. Atlantic City Country Club, one of the famous names in the world of golf. This episode of The Traveling Golfer brings you to one of my favorite spots in the world, this historic golf course, hard on Absecon Bay, skyline of Atlantic City in the backdrop, and so much history involved with the course, the clubhouse, and the personalities. We'll take you around the course, explore much of that history, and give you the experience that we enjoy every time we come here, from the minutes when we drive in the driveway till the last moments when we wave goodbye with new memories of this old classic.
This lager comes from a place that's been brewing beer for longer than anyone else in America, where men and women have crafted amber gold in the caves below since before refrigeration. It comes from Yuengling, America's oldest brewery, and brings with it all the know-how that doing a thing well for nearly 200 years affords. Yuengling Traditional Lager. Respect. It's earned.
The tip of the putting green at Atlantic City Country Club also serves as the first tee. From the outset, you get the idea this is a pretty special place, and maybe a little bit intimidating too. Mike is director of golf. You work every day in the heart of tradition here at Atlantic City Country Club, and it is a great golf course to play right from the very beginning.
This is true. This first one is a bit of a bear, 450 some yards, I believe, from the white tees.
And it's part of the strength of this golf course, I believe, in that there's a cluster of par fours that are all over 450 yards from the back tees and well over 400 yards even from the whites, 1, 5, 7, and 9.
Absolutely. The other thing is the greens are not particularly large, and when the wind blows, and that's the defense of this golf course, if it's a calm day, you can score relatively well. Obviously, you have to be hitting it well, but even the short holes are challenging here. Greens are undulated, very fast, as they've always been known to be. It is very challenging.
While most of Atlantic City Country Club is a very straightforward golf course, there are a couple of quirky features that make you think of the old. Right here, number 1 green has a hidden bunker behind it. You've heard of double greens. How about a double bunker? This bunker also runs along the 6th fairway. I don't know that I've ever seen that before, Mike.
It is unique. It serves two purposes. One, for balls going too far on number 1, and 2, it is a fairway bunker on number 6, the long par 5. Very interesting, and you're right, unusual.
When you say quirky, everybody thinks of number 17, the par 3, a blind par 3.
The pin, if it's in the front part of the green, you will not see it because of the large dune that's in front of the green. The pin there is twice the length of our normal flags for that reason. There is a ridge that runs down the center of that green that basically separates it into 2 greens, and they are at different elevations. So a putt from the upper tier to the lower tier will present some interesting results.
I'm shaking already.
It can be a 3-putt from either side.
Talk to golf architects. They'll tell you a real challenge is creating a great short par 4 hole. I think number 14 here is one of the great short par 4s anywhere. Look at this scene.
I couldn't agree with you anymore, Tony. It's a hole that you have to avoid the right side. You have the bay and the marsh, bunkers up the right, you have trees and debris on the left that you want to avoid. It's not a hole that you want to immediately take out driver and wail away. More times than not, you will make a birdie using your head instead of your muscle. 5 wood is plenty. You can even hit an iron off of this tee and still be in play with a short iron into the green, no more than a wedge 9 iron at most.
Atlantic City Country Club, built in 1897. Of course, over the years, went through a few renovations, none more dramatic than the one by renowned golf course architect Tom Doak in 1999. It changed this course in a number of ways. In order to do this, Doak had to bring in millions of tons of dirt and fill. He actually raised some of the fairways and tees like this 5-6 feet over the existing turf level, and that helped with sight lines, but really helped with drainage too.
We're not suffering any real wet conditions even after heavy rains now. The course drains exceptionally well.
15, a par 3 that goes in the opposite direction, really is a scary shot. That elevated green with all kinds of water all around it.
It can be a 3-club difference whether the wind is in your face or downwind, as little as a 7 or an 8 iron to as much as a 3 iron or even a hybrid.
The wind obviously affects so many tee shots, but it really affects some of the second shots in the greens also.
If they're downwind, obviously you're going to land short and bounce onto the green. The greens are always firm, they're always fast. You have to put that into your calculation before you pull the trigger.
The variety of this golf course is amazing. And when I say variety, you have parkland holes.
Correct.
You have links style holes. You have seaside holes.
No doubt.
So there's a lot of different styles there.
Think about the history, and it was an attraction for all the Atlantic City visitors who were staying at the hotels. You'll see the bay and the skyline of Atlantic City are in plain view.
I've said many times, if I was condemned to play one golf course for the rest of my life, this might be it.
I understand that philosophy.
The International Network of Golf held one of its national conferences here. One of the reasons was because of the excellence of the practice facility, and I know people really make use of that.
Very much so. It is grass tees, very large grass tee area. There's a bunker and chipping green, and the putting green is enormous in front of the golf shop. Plenty of room to practice here.
The all-new, redesigned Exotics EX9 fairway wood features full-speed impact technology and design for the longest, most powerful fairway wood shots you've ever experienced. It features an interchangeable heel weight that offers players the added benefit of draw enhancement. The full-speed impact technology of the EX9 can also be seen in the fairway's sloped crown. The sloped crown reduces aerodynamic drag, resulting in added speed at impact for maximum distance. Visit touredge.com to find an Exotics dealer near you.
History is always the topic when you come to Atlantic City Country Club. There's so much of it, including the history of championship, professional, and amateur events.
Leo Frazier was instrumental in bringing women's golf to Atlantic City Country Club. 3 U.S. Women's Opens, 2 U.S. Women's Amateurs, 1 senior amateur, 1 regular women's amateur. We also had a U.S. Amateur in 1901.
And of course, when it became time for the over 50 set to grab the attention in golf, it started here in 2 significant ways.
Yes, that's true as well. In 1980, the first, what we would call today's Champions Tour or Senior Tour, was first played here, the inaugural event won by Don January in 1980.
And before that, the meeting, actually a summit conference of the people behind the movement to a senior tour, took place here, and they hashed out the rules. Sam Snead was here, Arnold Palmer, and of course the people from the PGA Tour. It actually was born right here.
I was at Atlantic City Country Club, and the reason I was there was my participation in the United States Coast Guard in Cape May, New Jersey. And I spent many afternoons there with Leo and the members through the years.
This rock commemorates a real piece of golf history that took place right here at Atlantic City Country Club, the birth of the term birdie.
That's correct. It's another one of those things that make this a very special piece of property.
This green was originally the 12th green, and it's sort of an odd story about how this happened.
Yeah, a few English gentlemen were playing, and one of them hit a shot within inches of the cup, and that led to the other gentleman saying that was a bird of a shot. And that term since then was one under par was considered a birdie.
Bird of a shot, common term in those days for anything that was really extraordinary, and it stuck. Every time you make a birdie, which for some of our viewers is very often and others not very often, they're going to think of this spot right here at Atlantic City Country Club, the birth of the birdie. Nick Borrow, Director of Operations for Ottinger Golf. Except for today, you are now our history professor.
Very good.
As we sit in the James Sonny Fraser room at Atlantic City Country Club, and I can't help but feel enveloped by a sense of history.
If you look around this room, there are a lot of artifacts from all the years of the history down at Atlantic City Country Club. We're lucky enough to capture most of those in photographs, old golf clubs, golf balls, tons of memorabilia, but we're always looking for more.
Now, the Fraser name has been associated with Atlantic City Country Club for years, but in the case of Sonny, a great amateur player in his early 20s, diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease in an early years, then had a political career, put together a group to buy Atlantic City Country Club, then sold it to his brother Leo. Sonny, unfortunately, gave in to the battle of Hodgkin's disease at age 34, but not before really starting that legacy of great history here at Atlantic City Country Club. Right next door to this, the Leo Fraser Library, his brother, who then went on to become president of the PGA of America.
That is correct. As a fellow PGA member myself, it's great to be known that I'm in the history of a place where a lot of it started. PGA started in 1916, and he was one of the first presidents shortly thereafter. He helped save the PGA of America. Him, Arnold Palmer, got together right here at this very country club and helped save the PGA and partner with the USGA for us as PGA professionals.
Yeah, they actually separated the PGA of America and the PGA Tour.
Correct.
And it satisfied a lot of questions and problems at that time.
Yes, absolutely.
In the case of Leo, his library here has so many artifacts also from not just all the things he did with the PGA of America, but all of the great players who came here as a result of his efforts.
Absolutely. A lot of people wanted to come and say thank you to Leo over the years, and a lot of them did come through right through these doors and did that over the years. Played golf here, played with him, and worked with him on any of his projects for the PGA of America.
And the third historic room in this clubhouse, the John J. McDermott room, winner of the U.S. Open 1911, 1912, first American to win the U.S. Open.
First time we got it, and it was right here, a member of Atlantic City Country Club.
Native Philadelphian, but he came here as your golf professional.
Yes.
As a young man.
He saw the opportunities that this place had to offer, and he wanted to be a part of it, for sure.
Another short, tragic career. In his particular case, his disease, severe schizophrenia, and he spent so much of the rest of his life in hospitals. It was really a shame. But he still came back here on many occasions into the 30s, 40s, on a day when he felt a little bit better and come out and play a little golf here.
Absolutely. Once you're here, you don't want to ever leave, and you want to find any way possible to make yourself back.
Yeah. So, these many spirits of tradition still echo in the halls by this new video library that is in 4 different locations in the building, where people can come in interactive video, see all about these characters, and the course itself.
Yes. And Tony, the best part about this is these videos are free and 100% open to the public. So we invite you and any golf historians, whether you're local or nationwide, to come down, view the videos anytime you want, take a tour of the clubhouse, plenty of artifacts to see, learn some of the history of the game of golf that happened right here in Atlantic City.
Mike, you know the Ballamore story well. Relatively short story, but there's been some interesting twists.
Absolutely. Ballamore was originally opened as a private facility in 2001, and 9 years later it was acquired by our owner that owns Scotland Run and Atlantic City. For at least one season we tried to keep it private and then went to a daily fee facility.
But one thing that has stayed from those original private club days, the private club condition. The design team of Alton Clark did a masterful job of crafting a solid golf course at Ballamore, but they don't get their due. All people want to talk about when they come off the course is the conditions. Near perfect fairways and even more perfect greens. A growing trend in golf course ownership, multiple ownership, advantages for the owner and the management, but also advantages for the player. 3 different experiences within the Ottinger Golf Group.
Without a doubt, and all very unique in their character. Ballamore is parkland style, but a real sanctuary. You are out there and see nothing but Mother Nature at its best. Scotland Run has quarry holes, which are very unique to that property.
Well, this course is very unusual in this area. There's 2 different flavors, as you could say, of the golf course. We have front 9 that goes through more of the wooded area. It's very tree lined on the front 9, at least the first 7 holes on the front. Very demanding off the tee, not a lot of room to miss left or right off the tee. But if you do find the fairway, it can be very rewarding on your second shots into the green. They are protected well with some bunkering and some waste areas. But the front 9 is mostly known as the wooded 9, and a little bit easier of the 2 9s because there's not as much water or waste areas that come into play.
Yeah.
The back 9, completely different feel, goes through an old sand quarry that the property really sits on. Not tree lined at all, but a lot of waste areas, a lot more water that comes into play. A little more open, if you will, off the tee because of the fact that there's no trees, but if you miss a fairway, you're in the middle of a sand pit. So at least you have a shot out of the sand compared to behind a tree. We wanted to keep the theme of the sand quarry that was here, so we had left a few of the plows, and there is even one piece that doesn't fit quite with the quarry theme, and that is the airplane that is down in the 16th hole. The entire clubhouse encompasses about 28,000 square feet, so it's a large building. Upstairs is where you get a great view of the golf course, and that is our banquet room where we do a lot of weddings, parties, different types of events there. They have a 100-seat full-service restaurant with a bar area. It's gorgeous inside.
For all those people that are coming down the shore for the summer, Scotland Run can be either on their way down or on their way home. Once they're here, Ballamore and Atlantic City are 15 minutes apart and very close. Atlantic City, iconic as it is, seaside course, real familiar with links style golf, and all included in one membership.
Atlantic City Country Club has gone through some changes over the years. Originally a private golf club, then a daily fee golf course.
Yes.
Now a daily fee course with a very active annual membership.
Yes, Tony, we have 3 great golf courses that are included in our membership. Whether you sign up here or at any of the other golf courses, you are a member of all 3. We have Atlantic City Country Club, Ballamore Golf Club, and Scotland Run Golf Club.
That makes for a great arrangement if there's an outing on one of them.
Never get shut out. Anytime you're trying to come out and play, whether it be a weekend, a morning, an evening, we can always get you out one of our 3 facilities.
This beautiful sky deck is part of the changed dining scene here at Atlantic City Country Club. The patio below, and then of course the dining room, which has had really a nice facelift.
Yes, this building was very difficult to decide what to keep and what to change. We opened up the kitchen, so when you're sitting inside, you can watch them cook your meal right before your eyes.
A big part of the renovation at Atlantic City Country Club the wedding and banquet facility, and it's absolutely spectacular, Nick.
Yes. This room that we're standing in right now is the exact layout it was originally designed. We just changed the interior decorating, brought it back to a more modern style. You can take a look around the room and you'll be amazed at every little detail that nothing was left out of this room.
But there's also the covered patio, which will serve for dinners, but also could serve for certain functions at weddings or banquets also. Of course, there's the famous sky deck. As far as wedding venues, the ability to take the cocktail portion of the wedding and have it in a setting like this, the wedding capital of the Jersey Shore. After every round at Atlantic City Country Club, a visit to the historic locker room is a must. One of the few portions of this clubhouse that was preserved throughout the renovation, preserved to keep the history, the tradition, and remember so many great names who have passed through these doors and added to the lore of this great club. So it's time to sit down, kick back, and reflect on another great round.
Any Yingling, I presume?
Jimmy Hannon, locker room manager, who always adds to a perfect round with a perfect ending at Atlantic City Country Club. We hope you viewers enjoyed this trip around such an iconic site, another great trip through golf and history on the Traveling Golfer.
Tony Leodora's golf wardrobe, courtesy of Antigua, the leader in modern golf apparel. Tour Edge is the official equipment sponsor of the Traveling Golfer.